Let's talk, Dawn, about shoplifting.
Right.
So there's a big story about this Tesco's over the weekend talking about the increase in this and the abuse their staff have, which is awful. It's a terrible position to be put in.
Yeah.
But I put it to you, I'm going to say something controversial now. I think when it comes to Tesco and Sainsbury's and Waitrose and Aldi and whoever else is out there, that it is not a police problem. I think they should pay for their own security because they're making enough money out of this crisis at the moment.
There is a lot of profiteering going on in supermarkets. I completely agree with you on that one. However, is that really the fault of the actual workers on the shop floor who are facing...
No, but I'm just saying it's not my problem either. If Tesco are making, 50% profit on something or whatever, I just think there is a cost of living crisis out there. They're making enough money that they can handle the risks that go with that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I mean...
The police... Listen, there's no point saying... I heard somebody saying, where there's CCTV footage, the police have an obligation to investigate whatever it is. Why say that when they don't have the manpower to do that?
Well, this is the problem. I mean, there's an interview in here, this is in the Metro as well, with a chap called Richard Inglis, who runs 3 Co-op stores in Hampshire. And he's been told by the local police in that area that they would only come along and investigate shoplifting theft if the value was more than £200. Well, basically, it's giving carte blanche to shoplifters to go in,
free-for-all,
not only abuse staff, but also just walk out with, if it's, less than 200 quid, you're fine, get away with it.
And for me, this is actually a much bigger, wide problem. This is a societal problem. It's not a Tesco's problem. You remember a few weeks ago, there was all this Missy guy and his tribe who would run in and they would announce that they're running in, they'd kick the doors in and just run riot.
Yeah.
And my challenge is that this is a direct result of the defenestration of the male figure in the home, the male figure in society, where young men are releasing this unbridled power because they've never experienced the force of a man at home. 40% of families are brought up with single-parent families. It's not the fault of mum at home who's doing her best. But if you haven't got a man at home saying, no! And really raising his voice to that young kid, so the young kid understands power and authority. You've got young 14-year-olds, 18-year-olds going in there with their unbridled power, never, ever, ever. And I know this is not what we're doing these days, having a clip round the ear, the ear fell, or the dad going, no! But
Chris, everything you've shouted at, everything you've said there'll be people saying you've just acted in an abusive way, and that is not now acceptable.
That is what I'm saying about the defenestration of the male power. You need male authority. You need to understand that with your own personal rights becomes a responsibility to be a civil citizen. And I think that young men these days have been brought up over the last 30, 40 years without the power of the male authority figure at home and at school.
Well, it's interesting you say that, but, my father was the ultimate deterrent. It never got to my father because we were always too scared of my mother. Really, so 5 boys in the house, and she was the one that laid down the law. It had to be said.
Would she shout?
Yes, of course she would shout. I mean, she would say to me, she died last November at 90, and she would say to me, don't you think you're too old or for me to slap you round the head? She would say that, and she would mean it. She would do it.
No, I mean, we had, and I know you can't do this now, but we had it was never used, but there was a stick in the cupboard, and like your mum would go...
Was it bamboo by any chance?
I think it was,
My mother used to start the school holidays. You go down to the hardware shop and get a bamboo cane.
It was never used, but the threat was there.
Ours was used.
And I think Chris is so right, though. I think there is a lack of discipline now, whether it's from your mum or your dad, but I think a strong male
or female.
No, in particular, male. I saw a picture on the TV where these young kids were kicking the door in the Tesco's with a woman on the other side. Now, would you do that to your mother, your sister, your daughter? No, but these young kids have got absolutely no fear of kicking the door down and slapping down a woman.
So, Chris,
now, if you had... Go on.
Chris, you served, obviously, in the military. So there was a story earlier on the week about bringing national service back. Would you support that, then?
When you say national service, it doesn't have to be in the military, but certainly I do believe, again, this is of the ritual of the rite of passage. young males in particular need a rite of passage. And so, yes, if we had 18 months where you served society, you were the authority figure, or no, you were doing the security at Tesco's. And for 18 months, you worked at minimal pay to do the security. Oh, yes, join the military, whatever.
Yeah.
But you need to serve society so that you don't kick the doors down of society when you get into your early 20s. No, men and women came before you and built this society, and you can't destroy it just like that. You need a clip round the ear, son.
All right.
Very passionate there.
You'll have a view on that at home. Do you agree with Kriss? gbviews@gbnews.com.
It doesn't matter if you agree or not.
Or disagree. Everyone's welcome.
No. The point is, it's all talk again. It's all smoke and mirrors. There are not the police authorities there to implement fines. The court system's bunged up. There's not enough police officers there to do it. So why pretend they're going to investigate everything? They're not going to investigate everything. So there has to be another way of looking at this. I don't know what way that is, whether it's private security firms or...
But what are they going to do, Eamon? So if a bunch of youths come into there, are you going to shoot them? No. So what are you going to do with these young kids right now who do not respect authority?
Yeah, but you could have, what am I trying to say, guards at there. For instance, a private company can slap you with a fine for parking your car in the wrong place, right? So why can't a private company slap you for shoplifting out of Tesco?
Because, Eamon, you and I, if the authority figure says you're going to pay your fine, you'll pay your fine because you've been
brought up that way.
Correct.
Exactly.
But this young kid who is 18 doesn't give a flying feces about your authority figure. So if you are a guard, he's going to come in and try and slap you. And if you grab hold of him and you hurt his little finger, you're the one who's going to get done, not that kid. You've just undue force and attention on that kid. So this is the problem. This is what I'm trying to say, is that actually he... and some of the she's have never experienced that finger. Oh, okay, yes, sorry, sir. I would never, ever shout at the policeman. I would never, authority was important to me growing up. These young kids have got no sense of authority and their role in society.
Yeah.